Hello, my friends, and welcome to this complete JavaScript course. My name is John Batowi, your instructor for this course. In this course, we are going to take JavaScript from the very beginning and gradually work our way up to building real-world applications. So whether you've not written any line of JavaScript before, or you've played around with JavaScript but you still don't understand or really understand how it works, don't worry, you are in the right place. By the end of this course, you won't just know how to you won't just know JavaScript syntax, but you actually know how to use it and use it to build projects and work with APIs, manipulate web pages, handle user interactions, work with asynchronous operations, and eventually build a complete real-world application. But before we start building anything serious, let's answer a very simple question. What exactly is JavaScript? All right, JavaScript is a programming language used to make applications interactive and dynamic. What does this mean? It means that uh, uh, it means that if you've ever visited any website and clicked a button, opened a menu, submitted a form, seen content change without refreshing the page, or interacted with something on a website, there's a good chance JavaScript is involved. Think about a website as having three major parts. HTML gives the page a structure, CSS controls how that structure looks, and JavaScript gives the page the behavior we see. Let's take an example. For instance, let's go to YouTube. When we open up YouTube, let me open up my Opera Mini to access a YouTube environment. So let's say we open up YouTube. All right, we see that this is our YouTube page that has been opened. Like we said, that if you've ever clicked a button, visited the website and clicked a button, or you have opened a menu, submitted a form, you've seen content change without being refreshed. For instance, we are in this YouTube page, and then if we want to watch Nollywood video, you see that we see an item here called all Nollywood, music, mixes, live, psychology, African music, smartphones, and so on. But in this all, that means all comprises of different uh, types of videos on this page. But if I want to filter out, if I click on Nollywood, that means I'm going to get just Nollywood videos only. It's going to filter just that for me. And we observe that we did not refresh the entire page, but when we click on this, on any of the item, the page refreshes without the entire page being refreshed. What I mean, the content are being infused or refreshed without the old page being refreshed. If you click on music, you see that the content changes without the old page being refreshed. This could be done with JavaScript. JavaScript um, is the language that can do something like this. And also, look at this navigation bar here. This is called a sidebar. This is a sidebar. You can see if we click on this hamburger over here, it's called an hamburger. If you click on it, it goes out. Click on it, it comes in. All this functionality and behavior can be done using JavaScript. And that is one of the things that we'll be learning. JavaScript can make something happen when the user clicks any button or clicks on a button, you see this hamburger is a button. When you click on it, it goes out. When you click on it, it comes back. Now today JavaScript can run on any browsers. For instance, the next questions I want you to also answer is, where do JavaScript runs? Now JavaScript runs on browser. JavaScript So where do JavaScript runs? JavaScript runs on browser. Do you understand? On every browser, there is what they call JavaScript engine. On every browser, there's what they call JavaScript engine. And this engine interprets JavaScript. I will just say JS, which is JavaScript, short for JavaScript. Interpret JavaScript codes, interpret JavaScript language or codes, or you can simply say it translates JavaScript into machine. So you can say it translates JavaScript code, it translates JavaScript into machine code. Do you understand? So every browser has what they call JavaScript engine. Examples or names of JS engines. In Chrome has JavaScript engine as V8. In Microsoft Edge, we have it as Chakra, and in Firefox, have it as JMonkey. So and so on and so on. These are types of JavaScript engine that interpret JavaScript code into machine readable code. JavaScript that interpret or translate JavaScript syntax rather into machine codes. Do you understand that? So these are types of JavaScript engine. Now, before we used to have just JavaScript run on browsers, but currently JavaScript do not run on browsers alone, but they also run outside the browser. And what makes them to run outside the browser? It is the help of what they call node.js. So this is what makes JavaScript to run outside the browser. In the very early stage of JavaScript, it only runs in the browser because it was used to create dynamic page, just as we are saying in YouTube. It was used to create dynamic page and then make the page interactive, make the page functional. Do you understand? HTML gives the skeleton structure. CSS makes it beautiful, like you can see how the content are placed, well structured, things are placed well. These are done with CSS, but the interactions, the behavior of the page is being done with JavaScript. Do you understand that? So it runs only in the browsers, but with the help of Node.js, JavaScript can now run outside the browser. Now it runs outside the browser currently because we want JavaScript, or the purpose of it running outside the browser is to enable developers create full stack applications, which means not just you building the front end alone, but also building the backend of the applications. We'll get that. Let's take some history into JavaScript, a little history into JavaScript. JavaScript was created in the year 1995 by this man called Braden H. While he was working at Netscape, that's when he created this JavaScript. And here is something very interesting. Despite the name JavaScript, I want you to also know this. JavaScript has nothing to do with Java. Understand that JavaScript and Java are two different programming languages. They are different, totally different in the way many beginners assume, because some people will see JavaScript and feel like it is the same as Java. No, they are very distinct. Java and JavaScript are completely different programming languages. JavaScript was originally created to bring scripting and interactivity to web pages. The language was later standardized under the name ECMAScript. So when you hear terms like JavaScript and ECMAScript, don't get confused. JavaScript is the language we use, while ECMAScript is the standard that defines how the language is supposed to work. And JavaScript continues to evolve through new versions of standards. So ECMAScript defines how the language is supposed to work, while JavaScript is the language that we use. So where do we set up JavaScript environment? Now let's set up the environment we will use throughout this course. The first thing you will need is a code editor. You need a code editor. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, commonly called VS Code. You can use another editor if you prefer, but I will be using VS Code throughout the course so that we all working with roughly same environment. You will also need a modern web browser. You also need a modern web browser. If you know your browser is not up to date, please update your browser. I am using Google Chrome and Fire Microsoft Edge, preferably Microsoft Edge I will be using, but you can use Chrome, you can also use Edge, you can use Firefox, you can use Safari or another modern browser, even Opera Mini. You understand? Once you have VS Code installed, then we can walk you through. If you know you don't have VS Code, this is how to get it. First of all, just go on VS Code. Just type VS Code. You will not see it like this, so we just have to spell it Visual Studio Code. So once you type it on your browser, you just go to look at it here. You just go to download Visual Studio Code. When you click on it, it will take you to the site where you will download it. So you see, there's for Windows, there's for Linux, and there's for Mac. You click on any of your preferred operating system and you download and install. I already have mine installed, downloaded and installed. So please get it set up. Then I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.